she ended up being right. So honestly, I believe that I ended up being fired, but I believe that was my segue into my purpose.
Wait a minute. You got a job in Kenya and you ended up being fired. What did you do?
Crazy amount of money.
What did you do?
Oh, sorry, my bad. What was it?
Disgustingly amount of money.
Yeah. What did you do, Brittany?
It's what she didn't do.
What did you do? Caldwell will be talking to us about her experiences as a Black American living in Kenya. She'll also be telling us what inspired her to explore the African continent, so stay tuned for that. And I'm your politics anchor, Ali Badawi. There's not going to be any politics today, but it's Friday the 14th of October, and we're coming to you live from Kilimanjaro Studios outside Washington, D.C. Please remember to subscribe to our OneMicShow YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at OneMicShow. On panel with me tonight is Mr. OneMic Kamakawa. We have our resident DJ Moshfire. Ruth is also in studio tonight, and Mika will be joining us via Zoom. And without much further ado, I'm going to get started right away because we have so much to cover tonight. Now, recent trends show that the interest in Africa by Black Americans is surging and is at an all-time high. There was a time when the only Americans you'd see on the African continent were mostly white, but this has, however, changed over the last decade. Now, different groups of Black Americans have been booking tickets to Africa for leisure, for work, for business, and even more important, to reconnect with the motherland. There's, however, been a silent tension between the two groups fueled by sensational media narratives and long-held stereotypes. Now, tonight, we are privileged to be joined in studio by a Black American expert and YouTube content creator currently living in Nairobi, Miss Brittney Caldwell, a.k.a. Brittney in Africa. Now, Brittney has been living in Kenya since August of 2021, and before that, she was living in Accra, Ghana. Now, Brittney has also traveled to Tanzania and Uganda and has an upcoming trip to Nigeria. She has plans to visit all 54 countries in due time. Brittney, welcome to the OneMicShow and welcome to Kilimanjaro Studios. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing.
All right, get the mic closer. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I am feeling amazing.
Okay.
Thank you guys for having me.
All
I'm feeling the vibe.
All right. All right. And we're happy to have you. Now, here's the interesting, Brittany, before even we start this conversation, like when I was sharing about this show with some of my friends, some of the WhatsApp groups I have, and I say there's a Black expert who's coming to studio, and I was like, Black and expert? How does that come together? They were expecting, like Black immigrant or Black this, because expert is normally not used with the word Black, or at least in a lot of Kenyan minds. When they think expert, they tend to think white. Yeah. So what reaction do you get? Like when maybe you introduce yourself as a Black expert, or what kind of vibe do you get?
I'm normalizing Black expats. We are what we are. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you say the word expat, it probably doesn't pop into your head, but that's what I'm here for, and that's the mission. So give me like 3 years, and when you think of expat, you'll think of Black Americans.
All right, that's great.
The goal, right? Or Blacks from other countries. Okay,
that's great. And we have a lot in store tonight. Just want to take time to introduce the other panelists tonight. We have Ruth. Karibu sana OneMicShow. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great to have Brittney in studio.
Okay.
And I've been waiting to meet her and just chat with her about our life in Kenya.
You've been binging on some of her content.
I have been.
Is there one particular one that stood out?
Yes, the interview with the gentleman in my favorite color. Yellow
Black?
shirt.
Yellow.
Thank you, Mosh.
Yellow shirt. I've interviewed so many people. Who was in the yellow shirt?
Who was in the yellow shirt?
What were we talking about?
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Was he fine?
Are they not?
I'm thinking that's the one.
I don't know.
Are they not?
I can't even remember. Child.
Yeah, I mean, most Kenyan guys are fine. So, hey, why? I'm just messing with you. All right, I'm just messing with you. And then we also have DJ Moshfire. DJ, karibu sana.
Asante sana mnanipokea.
Tunakupokea safi kabisa. How's your week been?
Man, it's been an interesting week. We are alive. And that's all that matters.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And Mika on Zoom. I don't know whether you're hearing us. Mika Och.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Mpaka base ameingisha.
Yeah, I was not expecting that voice. That just threw me off.
It's because you're here. Sorry. Did I say that out loud?
I thought Mika was a girl in my mind.
Oh.
He translated to a girl, so I was expecting a woman.
Okay.
Oh, Mika is a boy's name.
We'll call him Micah.
Well, for me as an African American, if we hear a girl named Mika, somebody named Mika, you think it's a girl because the like Mika.
Oh, the enunciation.
It's ambiguous. Obviously, any name can be ambiguous, but Mika to me hits as a girl.
Not any name can be ambiguous, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, we'll
Mika.
chat it. That's a whole other topic.
Yes, Mika, what's good?
It's a Friday.
Okay.
The base has gone away. The base has gone away.
Man,
It's a Friday. Saddle
Mika
shining.
sounds like he's
That's what's
laying
good.
down, Netflix and chilling type vibe, chilling.
Yeah, he could be Netflix and chilling.
is that true, Mika? Are you Netflix and chilling?
I wish I was.
Okay.
But I'm here with you guys.
Okay.
Listening to you guys.
Okay, all right.
Talking to emotion. Listening to emotion on a Friday.
All right.
Especially with Netflixing and chilling.
All right, asante sana Mika, and I also want to welcome the listeners here. I can see Washeke Ndirangu, Esther Mulusa, karibuni sana, and Ida Alicia, welcome. Start typing up the questions. I know a lot of you have questions for Brittany in studio. Start typing them up, and she will be answering them as we go. But now, Brittany, as we just get started here, maybe for those who are seeing you or hearing about you for the first time, just tell us who exactly is Brittany, and maybe tell us a bit about yourself and your background before you ventured into Africa. Brittany.
Well, my name is Brittany Caldwell. I started off really on social media as the teacher gram vibe. I was like a public school teacher, a disgruntled American public school teacher.
Okay.
I fell in love, and then he was like, let's go to Ghana. I want to introduce you to my family.
Okay.
So he took my black ass to Ghana, and then I was like, yo, this is a vibe. Like, this is everything that I have not heard of when it comes to Africa. Like, I was just so culture shocked in such an amazing way.
Yes.
So then we would go back and forth. COVID hit, and that was my opportunity to because I was teaching virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? Why teach virtually from America? Let's just dip and go to Ghana.
Okay.
So we were in Ghana for a while, throughout me teaching virtual, until one of my disgruntled, hating coworkers snitched on me, and I had to come back to America for a little. But that's when I was like, you know what? Life is better over here in quote unquote Africa.
And when was it? What year was that? That was 2020?
2020.
Okay.
But he took me there in 2015.
Okay. Oh, wow. So
So
2015 was a visit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we just started going back and forth, visiting often. So long story short, I ended up going to Kenya and teaching,
Mm-hmm.
got fired,
Okay.
and then was like, yo, actually, it's weird to me. It hit me in my mind, no one has ever told me to go to Kenya.
Now, before we get to how you got to Kenya, we wanted to know now, before even you went to Ghana for the first time, what were your earliest thoughts about Africa as a child? What do you remember?
I'm a Southern girl.
Yeah.
So my family is real country. And to be honest, Black people in general have very bad misconceptions about life in Africa.
Okay.
But it's worse when you in the country with country folk. You know what I'm saying? Even I just went home to visit my sweet granddaddy, Lord. I interviewed him on my channel. I don't know if y'all saw that one.
I did see parts of it.
I cut him up a bowl of papaya, mango, and banana for breakfast, and he was like, oh my God, did you learn this African dish in Africa? And I'm like, you do realize this is just a bowl of fruit. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they just everyone has a lot of misconceptions. So when I was growing up, what I thought of Africa was struggle, oh Lord, those commercials,
Kids with
With the
flies.
flies.
yeah, oh no,
Help a kid
The
for
flies
$1.
The flies
Yeah.
and the Uji.
damn, no shoes.
Mm.
That type of vibe. So when I went to Ghana for the first time, and my boyfriend had his friends pull up in Mercedes, and I was like, ah,
Okay.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not that big of a talker, so I never my ex he was not that big of a talker, so he was never like, yeah, we got this. Like, we would just kind of vibe.
It's just humble.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got there and was like, damn, like, this thing is nice. Like, you know, so just growing up, I went to Howard University, which is a black school. I was a history major, and I am a social studies history teacher. And we never really talked about life in Africa. I was actually an African diaspora major.
Wow.
And I never heard of Mau Mau in my whole degree.
That is.
At Howard
Who
University.
are your teachers?
I swear to God, there's so much we did not learn. And like, they really focused on like Kemet and like just very specific. But Africa's so big and there's so much history.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we were just learning about like mainly the slave trade.
Okay.
As diaspora, like people out of.
Okay.
Is this the same story across all HBCUs? Because my thinking would be an HBCU would be the place where they would drill down on what's not being taught.
Howard is like the number 2 HBCU. Spelman is 1, and it's female. So technically it's the number 1 because it's boys and girls. But
Yeah.
Howard is creme de la creme. You know, great. I got a great education, but I swear there's so much I did not learn. So I've just always been infatuated with Africa, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always had like African friends growing up. Like a lot of my friends growing up, it's like, oh, she smells weird. Like other Africans, to be honest. Like, say it's like a group of Black Americans will just be like, oh, like your house, you can smell like her house on her, like the scents. Of, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Kind of that kind of vibe. We're like, oh, like a lot of my African girlfriends in high school couldn't, like, I was a party girl in high school, like their parents ain't going for that.
They did not,
Yeah, so it's like a different vibe, but I've always like connected with those communities. So as far as I can remember, like middle school and high school, really all the African girls kind of hung out together.
Okay.
And like, I'd kind of kick it with them. I've just always loved kind of like exploring different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
But my family has never been like, oh my God, like the Hotep vibe, like, oh yeah, our people, like, no. Like,
Okay.
when I told them like, hey, I'm going to Ghana with my man, they're like, are you okay? Like, you don't want to just go to Jamaica? Like, are you going to be able to call us? Like,
oh, they thought you were going to the deep end.
they thought I was
off
literally,
grid.
no, for real. They thought I was unsafe, for real.
Okay.
And I don't think that it's a willful ignorance, but you have to think about what's in the media.
Yes.
So like, even now, to be honest, I've lived in DMV my whole life. I swear to God, I've never met a Kenyan up here.
Okay.
Huh?
How?
I've never met a Kenyan here. I've lived here and gone to college.
So
But maybe-
Even in Howard?
So wait a minute. Are we the first DMV Kenyans that you're meeting?
No, Corpa. I chill
Okay.
with Corpa.
Okay.
That's my
Oh,
first
Copa,
like.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my new friend.
Okay.
I feel
So
like
she's
But we are
new.
still among the first.
He.
Oh, he's still new.
yeah,
Okay.
not here, but he's my friend.
Okay. No, I mean in the DMV. When did you start meeting Kenyans?
Literally just when I got
Yesterday,
back here.
Literally.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I met Corpa a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
But it's that's what I go to say. When you're not looking for something,
Yeah.
you don't find it.
You won't
That's
find
true.
it.
So I do have one Kenyan friend, Vivian Ngoje, that me and her are super cool, but she lives in Atlanta.
Okay.
So like she kind of helped me when I was going to Nairobi, but whatever. My point is, when you're not looking to find something, you don't see it. So
True.
like, if I'm not looking into African history or looking into what life in Africa is right now, you're not going to see it. If you're not digesting that content, like now that I am a African content creator type, that's all I see on my timeline.
Okay.
But before, I would never see stuff about Africa or life in Africa on my timeline unless you're looking for it.
For it. So let me ask you, how did you meet the person who took you to Ghana?
In the club.
Your ex in the
Okay.
club.
In the
Okay.
club in Atlanta.
All right.
Oh, okay.
But my first boyfriend was Nigerian. I don't want to sound like a weird fetishy
No,
type.
that's
Yeah, I was
not
going to say, I've just
necessarily.
always been like attracted to African men. I don't
Okay.
have a fetish though.
Okay.
Okay.
My first boyfriend, I met him at Howard University, and he was Nigerian. His family named me Labake Olusanya, which is a Yoruba name. And he was just different. I'm a very curious person. I love curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
and I love different cultures. And
Okay.
so I've always been like, what can you teach me? Like, that type vibe, and I like the culture. A lot of the values that Africans have that are different from kind of American or Western life, I actually really appreciate and vibe with.
Like, can you tell us more about what values those are?
He was very modest. He was very like into his education, not playing like hood, but to a limit. Like my dad's gonna beat my ass if I fail this semester, so I gotta go home. Like that type of vibe. Like he just taught me a lot. Kind of. I don't know. I just was feeling the vibe. He was more calm and more like, I don't want to say strict because that's like kind of a weird way to put it, but he was just more traditional.
Okay.
Let's say that.
Okay.
Like he wasn't like trying to be a thug. Like, you know, he was like, no, my family and what they think of me is actually very important to me.
Okay.
I'm here. I have to get this degree. Even though like the concept of him being forced to be an engineering major was foreign to me. Because where I grew up in the suburbs, it's like, I want to be an art major. Okay, Johnny, go do that. You know, he was like, I'm an engineering major because I have to be, like my family, and that just kind of
high expectations.
Yeah, that kind of sparked me because I'm like, dang, your family's making you? Like, that's fucked up. Like, and he's like, no, like, this is what life is like here, and we have to do this, and my dad came here for this, and that stuff I was foreign to.
And that's fairly normal in a lot of African families.
Exactly. That's a norm for you guys versus me as an African American. I mean, my parents let me go to Howard to be a history major. I switched from philosophy, but we don't even want to talk about that. Like, I wish they had been like, girl, like, you know, I don't know, but it's different cultures.
But now your exes, or let me say your ex, the one who took you to Ghana, is he the one who inspired you? I know you were already interested in Africa, but is he the one who motivated you to actually want to come to Africa? Or is that something that you already had in your mind?
No, it was him, to be honest.
Okay.
And I've traveled. I traveled to like Bali, Belize, Costa Rica, Hong Kong. I've been everywhere. But until I met him and he was like, I'm going to take you to Ghana, it was just like a X on the map for me. I have to be honest. It was just not somewhere. I felt like it's somewhere where I needed to know somebody to go.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it wasn't something that you'd have gone to explore by yourself.
I would not have.
Okay.
Why?
So now I would, because it's just, it's growing now because of social media. But like, let's be honest, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you're just like, what am I going to do in Ghana?
Okay, you know, to us, that's going to be foreign. That question, because I think we do know things we could go ahead and, you know, do in Africa. But yeah, that question is very valid.
As an African American, and I'm just keeping it real. Yeah, we just don't know.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And then it's also expensive. So it's like, do you want to pay that much to go somewhere which you don't really know about when Mexico's right there? Or like it's cheaper to get to Africa's not cheap.
It's
Trust
not. And I think actually the cost, you know, like later on in the hour, you know, like OneMic right here is going to be asking you about the cost, because there's questions, you know, like when you're a YouTuber content creator, people see you, you know, like in Nairobi, in Naivasha, in Kisumu, riding border borders, you know, in Tanzania.
With your white boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's not
so,
my boyfriend.
He was a dancing partner.
Hold on.
All they did was dance.
All we know.
Anyway.
Yes. So we're gonna get to that part. You know, like, did you say? Sorry, you had a question for?
But I don't know where's the queue for now. But the question was like, so when you get to Ghana,
I fell
for
in
the
love.
first time.
I fell in love. I did
Okay.
not want to come home. Honestly, he had to drag me home.
So what did you like about Ghana? That first time, like you land
I
in
just
Africa.
felt like-
I'm gonna call it Africa, though it's Ghana. Yeah.
Girl,
But-
I have eczema, right?
Mhm.
And when I was there, I did not lotion once. I swear. And I was like, yo, my skin is made to be here. I'm like, Kobe, oh my God, like I don't have to lotion. Like I'm not dry. Like I think my body is telling me I was made to be in Africa. Like this is actually wild. Like, cause I have serious skin issues. Like,
Okay.
you know, everyone was just so welcoming. The food, like everyone, it was just such a vibe. I don't know how to explain it,
Okay.
but you just felt like a guard go down. Almost like I just felt so safe and like loved and like happy and like simple, just simplistic joy
Yeah.
for me. Like it was just such a like relieving vacation. So a lot of places that we've gone, you kind of like in Mexico, you're like watching your back a little, like, or like, you know, you just have a guard up maybe, or like, you know, worried about this and that. But I just felt so safe and like happy.
Okay.
That's really good.
All right. You know, and that's Brittany. I want to remind the listeners that you're tuned in to the interview hour of the One Mic Show. We're in studio with Black expert in YouTube content creator Brittany Caldwell, aka Brittney in Africa, on both YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you follow her. Now, Brittany has previously lived in Ghana and currently lives in Kenya. She's on a quest to travel across all 54 countries. Now, later in the hour, Brittany will tell us how she transitioned from expert life to being a regular mwananchi or a regular hustler in Nairobi. So stay tuned for that. Then please remember to share our live stream and like our Facebook page. We are also active on both Instagram and YouTube, so please follow, subscribe, and keep spreading the word. But before we continue, Uno, please tell us what we're going to be talking about in the social segment. I think Brittany's still going to be here. Uno.
If we don't cover it, we'll definitely try to figure out life, working, papers, work permit. I mean, there's so many things that we are going to touch on.
Yeah.
Probably we'll talk about her Mzungu boyfriend. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We shall see.
That's
But I guess it's one of those. We'll take a journey with her.
Yeah, we'll take a journey with that. And I think in the social segment is where we'll also allow people to call in. Because there's a lot of curious people who have questions they want to ask her.
And you know, there are people who are very shy.
Yes.
They don't want to be.
I'm gonna tell my mama to call.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes. For those who want to save the number right now, it's 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak.
Yep.
We are going to post it on the comments right there, but that's going to be in the social segment. So I want you to stay tuned. Right now, we are still getting to know Brittany, and we're also going to get Mika into the conversation shortly. But before that, Brittany, I want to come back to you. We know that most Black Americans traveling to the continent tend to stick to West Africa. You know, like you went to Ghana first.
Yeah.
And why is that the case? And maybe what made you take the different path to Kenya? So we want to know. We know what took you to Ghana, but at what point did you decide, or what was the triggering factor to make you want to go to Kenya, Brittany?
So I actually am discovering things as I go along. On my YouTube, I just started a Blacked Out History series where I'm talking about all things African history. So historically, what I have been taught and many other African Americans is that we derived from West Africa and we're taken from West Africa to the Americas. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's like when you think about like the year of return, going home, oh my God, Mother Africa, you don't think of Tanzania, Uganda, it's all the way over there.
Yeah.
So when you think about going home, it's from the slave trade. Like when you look at the triangular trade system that happened, it goes straight to West Africa. So I think for me, like I swear to y'all, I never thought of Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda a day in my life until things changed. I always thought it was just like Ghana, Lagos, Freetown, Cote d'Ivoire for me.
Okay.
Because that's just what we're conditioned as going home, the trip to the motherland.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like if like you're going to the motherland of Europe, but you're thinking about Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just off. Like there's a disconnect.
But what triggered you to want to come? Did you just pick Kenya on the map and you set out to Kenya?
I got a job offer.
Oh, you got a job offer.
So I was looking for a job in Ghana because life is not cheap in Accra. It's actually more expensive than Nairobi, but we'll chat about that later. They offered me a job and I had to think about it because I'm like, yo, Kenya's so far.
From where?
From America. Like Ghana, that 10-hour flight, you can get on a 10-hour direct from DCA.
Yeah.
IAD to Accra.
Yeah.
A 10-hour direct. You know, take a nap, wake up. Kenya, I was looking at the map like, yo, oh my God.
All the way in the east.
But then I was like, but the money.
Money is good.
So then I told my man like, oh, let's just go for, I was like, let's just go for 2 years. And just see how it is. Like, it's kind of far, but I feel like it could be a vibe. I had never been to Kenya. I'm not like a pre-researcher. Like I told you, I've never watched one of you guys' shows. To be honest.
I was just about to ask you, did you watch any of the, because we have influencers out there.
I just go in blind.
Okay.
I don't want to like have expectations.
Okay.
Okay.
And you
So-
came to Kenya with your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, who was
Okay.
Ghanaian.
Okay. Your boyfriend at the
Oh,
time.
his ex. No.
He's an ex.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had to kick his black ass out of Nairobi. You heard it
Uh-oh.
here first.
Wow.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not kidding.
Why gonna
Yeah.
be black? Why gonna be black?
Oh, don't get started. That's the Kenyan in you. Anyways, we'll chat about that later.
Yeah.
We'll chat about that later because black is not an insult.
No, I'm just no.
That
I
could
know.
be an uplifting statement.
It is.
I'm proud.
Yeah.
I'm a black queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, not when you
My
say.
black ass.
Well, that's different. And in what context?
So let's get back to Nairobi. You know, like how you got to Kenya and
I
what
got
triggered you to
offered a
get
really
there.
good job in Nairobi,
Mm-hmm.
and the money was talking.
Do you mind telling us what job that was?
At an international school teacher to expat kids at a very prominent school, like the number 2 school in all of Africa. That happens to be in Nairobi.
Okay.
wow.
Is that
So
by any chance ISK?
yeah, it was
Probably
ISK.
is.
So,
Okay.
but
Alright.
let's put this
Yeah.
into context.
Yeah.
When I was in Ghana, I started fundraising. I started getting bored because I had to wake up early, just naturally, because I'm a early bird, and then I didn't teach U.S. time until later in the day. So I don't like to have like idle time until like 3 p.m. So I was like, you know what, let me just start hanging out at Ghanaian schools. So then I started seeing the need that they had, and then I started fundraising and like got hella money, and it turned into something. So then I realized that that's my passion. In Atlanta, I was teaching black kids. I've always like worked with education with underserved kids.
Okay.
That's like my niche. So I got this job, and it
In
was at-
Ghana.
no,
In
I got
Kenya.
the job in
In Kenya,
Kenya,
okay.
and it was at ISK, which is like the top school, but it just was not my vibe. I couldn't make fetch happen.
Well,
Before when you say fundraising, what exactly what was the need for the fundraising for?
They
This is
did-
in Ghana, right?
they- in
For in
Ghana?
Ghana,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Just so that just to provide context.
I
you
was
know.
shocked because they didn't have computers.
Okay.
They didn't have windows. The second floor was not finished.
Oh, because when you said Windows, I think Ali might have thought, like Windows operating
Yeah,
system
No,
for the
no,
computer,
no,
but
no,
Windows like
actual
say,
windows.
dirisha, say dirisha.
Yeah.
Dirisha, hakuna
Yeah.
dirisha. Okay,
The
sawa.
toilets were awful. Like it hurt me.
Okay.
okay.
Because they were so smart. And I was like, yo, these kids are smarter than kids in America, and they have nothing. So, like, I was just so irritated at the fact that they didn't have computers. So, like, this is when I was a teacher grammar. So I was like, you guys, like, this is so sad here. Please help me. Like, send me money. And, of course, I told them, like, there's great schools here, too. You know,
Mhm.
it's not like every school is like this, but, like, let's help where we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know coming from the U.S., like, you'll have a teacher who was me, and it's like you're in a room like this, and you're like, well, I don't want a dry erase board. Like, I want a smart TV with a smart pen. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they would, like, kill for a dry erase board.
Okay.
So it just kind of, like, put things in perspective for me. And I was like, how can we help out these people? Because I was chilling there and really liked it. So it was like I got the job offer in Kenya, paying a stupid amount of money. They were just paying me so stupid, so much.
What do you mean?
Stupid,
What do you mean by stupid amount of
good,
money?
bad.
Give us context.
Ali, are you
It
asking
was
for a
more
figure?
than I was making in America, with housing paid, traveling allowance,
So let's say you were well taken care of. In
like
short,
disgustingly. Yeah,
disgustingly. Okay.
disgustingly. But not all money is good money.
Okay.
Got it.
So when I got there, I just realized that I like to serve. I wish there had been Kenyan kids more.
Okay. In
That
the
probably would have
international
made
school.
it better for me. Yeah, but it
Okay.
was really just like a white school in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
It's for those who have money.
And,
That's
and,
why
and,
it's
Even,
and
but
dive
even the
cat.
Kenyans who had money weren't there.
yes,
Unless-
that's mostly
unless-
expert kids.
Kids.
Are the
Yeah,
ones who
it was
mostly
not
go
even
to
Kenyans who
ISK.
had money. And I
And
thought in my
unless they're
mind,
trying to go for that system.
Now,
That's the only time
now
that they're really-
here's the interesting thing. Kenyans who had money, ISK is at another level, even for Kenyans who have money. Kenyans who had
St.
money
Andrews is
would
at
go to
another
schools.
level.
Now, St. Andrews, ISK is just very expensive. St. Andrews is a boarding school. So that's the
True.
advantage it has. But Kenyans with money go to schools, I think, like Brook House. And then there's some moneyed people who go to St. Mary's. St. Mary's is of course, not in the top tier,
Yeah,
but it's
Peponi,
somewhere
you know.
up there. But
people in my
Peponi-
comments will be like, girl, ain't nobody who's Kenyan with money trying to send their kids to crusty ass ISK, the curriculum. Nobody wants American curriculum
Because
and yada, yada,
that
yada.
was
Yeah.
the issue. It's the
That was
American
the issue,
curriculum
yeah.
because they want them to go with the GED
With the
Yeah.
British curriculum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ali, the one thing that you're confusing is that your curriculum, as you're saying, and remember in Kenya, the Kenyan elite, the way they take education is either the British system or usually the Kenyan elite want their kids to learn the British system because
Yeah.
they always look at sending their kids to British university.
Britain,
So
yes.
they'll go to school like Brighton and that. That is why ISK is just for kids, for people who work at the embassy, the UN,
Basically, it's
USA,
US
and all
kids,
these
yeah.
other
Expat
American
kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For
So
sure.
it's not that they didn't want rich Kenyans there, it's just that rich Kenyans prefer a different route for their kids' education than the American system.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was Mika. Brittany.
I had a rich friend who was watching my socials and saw that I was coming to Kenya. And I don't want to say her name, but she was like, honey, you're not going to like ISK. I went there for 1 year. My daddy paid for me to go, and you're going to hate it.
Is she looking for friends?
She went as a student or as a
She
teacher?
went as a student.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was like, I went to high school there, and I fucking hated it.
Okay.
And she was like, you're going to hate it, Brittany. And I was like, oh, my God, you're being so negative. I'm not even in Kenya yet, babe.
Okay.
Like, chill. I love it. But yeah, pocket, you're going to get it from me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not nobody's, like, work slave. Do you get what I'm saying? So if I feel wronged, I'm going to say it.
Just say hakuna kubembeleza. Kubembeleza.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Times where somebody who was more mature than me might have just chilled out and bit the L and dealt with it later. I like feel the need to stand up for myself or like say things or complain and X, Y, and Z. I wasn't all the way into it. Like these teachers invest their lives. They are like teachers night and day. Like I'm on a boda on Instagram in the club. Maybe I'll be at work in the morning though. You know what I'm saying? But like
No, but that doesn't work for the image.
that doesn't work.
Doesn't
for
work
them.
for the image.
Yeah.
I know,
So like it's
Yeah.
I said no to the PTA meeting, but I am at Gemini. Like it's it's just different. So I think they were looking for someone who was like 100% invested into the community, and I'm like I started actually like chilling with Kenyans, like really just out. Kind of.
Wrong move.
Now in your social circles outside school.
Yeah, and my boss is like, you should work harder to integrate yourself into the Kenyan community, like the ISK community.
Oh.
And I'm like, bro, I'm busy, like I'm vibing.
Yeah, I don't have
chill.
time.
Yeah, and then I had parents, I do social media, so I had parents like, yo, like you didn't grade Timmy's essay this weekend, but I saw that you were in
Bar next
Navasha.
door.
Oh.
And I'm like, hell yeah, I was in Navasha. Like, Timmy's essay will get graded. Like, it just wasn't.
So wait, they were giving you the timeline on when to grade?
They're looking for people who are very serious, 100% invested. These are people who are paying $30,000 a year. They want their kids a certain whatever. I started getting racial microaggressions. One parent told me, like, they shouldn't have hired you. You're not qualified. You've never taught IB, and I paid $30,000 a year, and you need to have experience.
Oh, wow.
She was like, one parent looked at me in the face and was like, I think I have it on my phone voice memo. Because I was like, yo. She was like, you're a diversity hire.
Oh.
Excuse me?
I swear to God. She told me I was a diversity hire. Because I
Was
was
that
like,
parent an American?
she's Dutch.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Because an
They're-
American would
they're
think
at a
twice
different
before,
level. The
they
Dutch
say
are
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she looked at me and told me I was a diversity hire.
Yeah.
who?
One Tanzanian student like made a big uproar basically with her parents because she feels like she's African because she was like born in South Africa and then moved to Tanzania or whatever. And then she had like called herself African, and I was like, well, I mean, you're not like African. She was white.
Okay.
So I was like, you're not African, but you're nationality wise, but not ethnicity. And like that was like
That was an issue.
yeah, but you're not. Like
You know, it's funny as you're speaking. Ida over here was asking how was her experience in Kenya, right?
Yeah.
But over here, it looks like your experience is very interesting because further down she says ISK is expensive for the safety of the kids that go there that are Kenyan. LOL. Nothing to do with the quality of education. So I think here what's happening is when she was asking what your experience was, now we are getting to experience what, for lack of a better word, being black is.
Well, let me tell y'all something.
But from a different lens, being an expert vis-a-vis being Kenyan.
Yeah.
Because Kenyans will probably be like, they will they will be very submissive.
Yes.
They will be very. They will be very. Yes. Oh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was a big problem.
especially with your boyfriend in the matatu when you're sitting in the front and you're the sugar mommy. But anyway, that's going to be the social segment.
Yeah.
Can I speak on this
but
really
no,
quick?
please. But go ahead. I just wanted to sort of chime in with what Ida was saying in relation to what your experience was, being that you're being told you're a diversity hire.
Yeah.
Something like that. But carry on, please, with the diversity hire
This
angle.
is the last interview or tape where I will be addressing ISK.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But I'm gonna lay it flat.
Yes. Go ahead. This
I'm
is
a
the
lay
one mic
flat.
show.
Snap. Okay.
They call it the
So-
People's Kamkunji for a reason.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
Kenyans at ISK know they're being mistreated.
Okay.
They have a different cafeteria that's like off to the side. Some of the white teachers and stuff will go there and eat, but it's like completely off on the other side because it's the utility yard. Because most of the Kenyans there are, of course, like grasskeepers,
janitor,
which
cook,
I understand because you're in Kenya.
driver.
Yes.
Okay.
But for me, in my mind, when I'm watching slave movies and shit
That's
back
what
at
you
home,
see.
yeah, so I'm
That's
like,
what you
oh
see. Wow.
God, am I in the 1800s? There was a teacher there.
The Help. The movie
Help.
The Help.
Yeah.
There was a teacher there who was more qualified than me, to be honest. I don't want to say his name. He was in my department. He was more qualified than me.
A Kenyan teacher.
A Kenyan teacher.
Okay.
Instead of them giving him my job, they'll rather pay me triple what they already pay him to bring me in from America, when really this guy knew way more than me. But just to say they have an American teacher, they'll pay 3 times that, pay my rent, all these things that they do not give to locals.
Wow.
So there's a local pay and an expat pay.
Okay.
Me
Wow.
and you
And
could have the same job.
Same job, same job description,
Same
same responsibilities.
Same job, but I get like an expat pay. So I started being like, this is fucked up. And then I had a white coworker who was like, well, I get the local pay because I lived here with my husband who, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're an anomaly. You're an anomaly. Yeah, you got local pay because your husband lives here and they hired you locally. But most of the people who are getting local pay are black Kenyans who live here. And that's wrong to me. I would rather take a pay cut so that we could be equal. But for me, I just felt bad because I'm like, really, this nigga should be in my job and I should be in his job.
Now, the interesting thing, Brittany, is that when we talk of international schools in Kenya, this is a story that's not told.
People
I
don't
think
know
no one
about
talks
the
about
I
it.
story,
think maybe
thank you.
people know it, like people in the
hush-hush.
circle know it. It's hush hush.
Yes.
But this is something that's never talked about, because there's only positive content out there regarding our international schools, and no one talks about how the locals in those international schools are treated. But now, Brittany, let me ask you real quick. Do you think, if you're saying, there's a teacher who you said is clearly, more qualified than you, better than you, but they're gonna get local pay and not expert pay. Do you think this these institutions are doing this kind of like deliberately and knowingly, or what value does it give
At
them?
the end of the day, they still pay more than public schools that
Okay.
are local. So that's what will keep everybody at ISK who is a Kenyan to shut up.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, they're still,
still
making
making more
more.
money.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Twice.
to me, it was
Twice or
still
3
wrong.
times.
So, like, I would have a lot of Kenyan employees come up to me like, yo, like, this is fucked up. Like, I heard you complained about this. Like, yeah. But when the heat came on a girl,
Yeah. And
silence.
and this is
Across
where
the board.
Now you know.
Yeah, like, literally nobody, crickets. So I was like, damn. Like,
But the thing is-
there's a context. Go ahead.
So context is, I think our system is designed to keep us quiet to begin, like right from elementary school, right?
Yeah.
So like
Follow
don't
instructions.
follow instructions. Don't complain too much. You're getting something. What's up? Like there's somebody worse than you, and they
Yeah.
will literally point to that worse person than you. You don't want to be that person.
The
So you
kid with
kind
the
of
flies.
it keeps you in. I know.
and-
I'm conditioned to complain every
But that's the thing.
time.
Being here, even us as Africans who've come here, we now know how to speak up when we see microaggressions.
Yeah.
But before we did not know.
now, and you see
It all
that's-
depends. It
that-
all depends.
It
If
all
it's
depends.
a white supervisor, you're not saying jack.
no.
You sit in your corner.
Now here's where this cultural differences, and here's where we can work together.
Yeah.
Correct.
Remember the beginning of the conversation, Brittany talked about, like some aspects that he really liked about, like the ex-boyfriend, coming from a culture where you're humble and now that has a good side and a bad
bad
side
side.
to
Correct.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where And you see now that's where I think we're in a very good position to learn from each other, because you also have, like Kenyans who live here in the US. Forget about the Kenyans in Kenya. You have Kenyans who live here in the US who have this thing about Black Americans, like they're always complaining. And these are conversations, I'm gonna be honest, these are conversations that happen on dinner tables. Someone will say, oh, these Black people that I work with, and these are Kenyans, Africans who are living here, they just like complaining. So for me, at some point, like when I was new here, of course, this is what you're hearing, and you're new here, and that's what you accept. But at some point, I started, asking myself, let me try to understand what it is they're complaining about. And I think this is where, when we talk to each other more, we can get to understand, whereby, like, these Kenyan workers, they can come together and try to demand something better. But I understand the fear of losing that job that's there. But that's where we need to start gradually changing. Brittany.
I think you can't blanket and say Africans, though, because West Africans speak up.
Yes,
They
Nigerians
don't
especially.
shut up.
Yeah.
But Kenya was different for me, because West Africans will go in all day on injustice.
That is true. To a
Where,
good
here
extent.
or in...
Here.
Both.
Here.
No, not even back home.
Even
back
Ghana.
home, yeah.
Okay.
I got cussed out by a Ghanaian one time, and I was like, this would never happen to me in Kenya. He was like, you think you something because you American? He's like, I don't give a fuck if you're from America. And I was like, yo, you're wildin', but I felt it. You know what I'm saying, baby?
Yeah.
I felt it. But this would never happen in Kenya. Yeah. Never.
Hold on. Collect your thoughts.
Never.
So here we have some people washeke karibu tuchamengia. Ida Alicia says yani alipenda sherehe, in short. In other words, you just like to have fun. You like to party.
That's not true.
Wait. Hiya, Brittany went to Vasha with Brayo and Kevo Wasubaru. Yeah. Guys are cracking jokes. The elitism in some spaces in Kenya is such a turn-off.
The what?
The elitism.
Oh, sorry.
Super elitism.
Yeah, super elitism. I was trying to twang like Ali. Segregation is alive and well in Kenya. Local versus expat pay is a real thing.
It's such a
We've been knowing this. That's the norm in corporate Kenya. Kenyans are paid way less than expatriates for the same roles. I was in a group of schools and we knew this. I don't know which group of schools that one was. Tucha, tell us which school
he's talking about the difference in pay.
No, there was a comment about us in a group of schools.
I was in a group of school and we knew this. So the group of schools tend to be international schools.
Yeah. Oh, he was. He's a guy, ISK guy.
Yes,
group
of schools.
The British has made sure the status quo to protect.
Status quo remains to protect their interests.
Oh, she has edited.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, remains. Okay, so Brittany just never met the right one, in quotes, to go toe to toe with in Kenya.
So I've definitely been cussed out in Kenya, but that's a different story. But
Ida, you saying you're the one? Ida, you saying you're the one who will go toe to toe?
I just feel like for the most part, though, there's more of a.
Yeah.
But I don't know. As far as with ISK, I feel like if you think about expat pay, because people do get brought into America to work, they're not making 3 times more than the Americans sitting next to them.
That's right.
Never.
No.
Never.
Nope.
So for me, it's disgusting. And I just started
should be.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And that's something that I think has been ignored for a very long time. And I'm not sure if it's because we live in a country that has a very high unemployment rate. I don't exactly understand why that happens, but I think it's a system that that predated colonialism, because the constructs that were built in colonialism, one second, Mika, the constructs that were built in colonialism, flowed and continued. Some of those structures continue to be there. That's why these things have been normal, from when we're growing up. Mika, go ahead.
No, I wanted to say that actually they do pay high, because let's look at it this way. Most of the time, the reason why you won't find expats working in America is because the skill set is already readily available in America, highly available. But Omosh Ali, we are in the same field. Omosh OneMic in the same field, and what people do say, you go get contractors and you find companies that go to hire experts outside and then pay them that normal rate. But what do the companies pay for? Right? You get when you decide you need extra help and you want to get a contractor to come to work for you privately, you're contracting them for such a time of money. You do pay more than 3
I
or
get
4
what you're
times
saying.
Yeah, you
because
do pay
even when you're
more
in the
than that.
army and you go to Afghanistan and you're in a contract, they pay you more.
Yeah.
But my thing is,
Yeah,
when you're in a school community and it's 3 times more and you're paying house, there's a difference between a little stipend more and like disgusting amount of money more.
Okay. Now the other thing is that you at some point started documenting your experiences, and I think you had started documenting your experiences. I saw, like the way you grow, the way you're excited about ISK at the beginning.
It's so sad to watch.
No,
It's
but it's a
sad.
good story.
It's sad.
It's a good
sad.
story, though.
It's sad, but it's a good story because
I was so excited.
because you don't know what you don't know when you're getting
Yeah.
started. And it was very excited seeing like that starting part and like how that went south really fast. And you started documenting your experiences and you became essentially a YouTube content creator, like through your experiences. So tell us about, like those experiences, like in as far as what motivated you to start actually creating content in Kenya.
I was like, look, I'm in Kenya. I'm vibing. I'm one of one. Like, it's not many Black women from America who wake up and move to Africa. So I was like, you know what? Let me vibe. So I'm like in my apartment that they got me, chilling, traveling.
Where was
vibing.
the apartment?
In the Westlands off School Lane, a 4-bedroom apartment for one single person with
Ooh
a
la
maid's
la.
quarter, a balcony, like just disgusting.
You were living it up.
Living. People would
Okay.
be like, girl, who lives in here? And they were like, if this is what they give to one person, there's people who come with couples
Mm-hmm.
and they get like a whole house
Oh, wow.
paid for. So anyways, everyone would come to my house and be like, I was lonely in my apartment. To be honest,
Okay.
I was very lonely. It was too big.
Mm.
But I just was starting like, yo, people are into it. People want to see what's up. I started YouTubing, and that became a problem with the school. And I just
Wait, hold up. YouTubing became a problem with the school?
Parents don't want to hear you
Image.
talk. They don't want to hear you talk. They don't want to hear your opinions. They don't want to hear you talk about race. They don't want to see you. People think teachers are supposed to go home, read, and go to sleep.
Oh, and mark papers.
Yeah, that's it. So if you have another life outside of teaching, just like I'm triggered by that person who said Brittany just wants to have fun. No, I'm 30. I'm 30. I'm not 90. I have a life
Okay.
to
All
live.
right.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm in
right.
Africa. So what am I supposed to do? What's the point of me living in Africa if I'm going to go home, grade papers, and go to sleep, wake up, and go back to ISK? What's the
Sherehe.
point?
Sherehe.
Sherehe.
Say sherehe.
Say
Sherehe.
sherehe. Piga sherehe. Piga sherehe. Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
I don't think it was meant in a bad way, by the way.
No, it wasn't
Well,
meant
no,
in
no,
a bad
no,
way.
no.
It
Yeah.
was just
I get it, though.
Yeah.
It was
And I do just want to have fun, but I'm saying I'm also responsible too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, well, that's the narrative that my job was trying to make it seem.
Okay.
Low key, like, oh, she's just not here to work, blah blah blah. But no,
The one
I'm a
thing
dual
is-
person.
They were mad because you didn't want to get an auxiliary parent to their kids.
Basically,
That's what most of this.
Basically.
That's most of this.
so long story short, they
They
fired
make the
me
money, you
on a
raise their kids for
technicality.
them.
Sorry, say that again?
They fired me on a technicality.
She must have signed an
I fucked up one little time. They fired me.
So they're just waiting for that.
They were waiting.
Okay.
I sued them. They countersued me. I
Ooh la
put
la.
out a video that got so many views that it was like crazy. When you Googled ISK, my video came up first.
What happened to that video? I looked for
They
it and I
ordered
didn't.
the Kenyan court to make me take it down. They sued me for libel.
Wow.
Gag ordered me. Took me, y'all. It gets so messy.
Wow.
It's fucked up.
How long did that whole case take?
I dropped it.
Okay.
I
So,
dropped
so you
the
withdrew
case.
your side, then they
I
withdrew
withdrew
their
my
side?
and
Yeah.
they refused to withdraw. The Kenyan court made them withdraw.
Understood.
Okay.
The Kenyan court was like, basically, like, y'all stop being childish, basically. Because they countersued me for, like, salacious speaking or whatever. So we've parted ways. I've moved on, but
So did you have an NDA, or it was just a regular contract?
I don't have an NDA, but I'm just not allowed to speak about
Certain things.
certain things.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it is what it is. It's all love, like, honestly. And that's why I said this is the last time I'm even going to talk about it. I thank them because they introduced me to an area that I never would have explored.
Got
Okay.
it.
Which
Okay.
was?
Kenya.
Yeah.
I never would have gone to
Yeah.
Kenya, and Kenya has changed my life in so many ways. So honestly, I just had to chalk it up to like God's plan.
Yeah. So some comments
you were
here
meant to be
coming.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see some comments here coming. Esther Malusa says Kenyans were completely messed up by colonialism. The whites lived in close proximity to us and made us internalize an inferiority complex. White people are always considered as investors who are worshipped by the police and even our political leadership. Kenyans get trapped and have nowhere to look. And then Ida says, if money wasn't a factor, where would your ideal life be, Brittany? Where does your soul really feel at home in all the places you've gone to? So let me pause, and I want you to answer that first before we go to the rest of the comments.
I would be living in. So I've said, like, I love Wode Maya because his base is Accra, and then he just goes everywhere through Africa. I would make Nairobi my base and travel Africa.
Okay, so you've decided on that, and you want
Yeah.
Nairobi as your
Yeah,
base.
it's the city in the sun. I
Okay.
Mean, is
Yeah.
that a
All right.
question or-
I would.
Okay, good. And then Washeke here says, telling Esther Mulusa, just look at how we treat domestic help. That's another issue.
Yeah.
And then Washeke says, what did they expect? Nairobi is the party capital of Africa. So I think she's just
ISK,
referring
what
to...
did ISK
Yeah.
expect of you? You're young, right?
You know, I even have rough times at ISK with Kenyans.
But
One Kenyan got mad at me, and I think I had a YouTube video about this. She got upset with me because we were just like key king. She was my teacher's assistant.
Yeah.
And like I said something black ass. I referred to somebody as black ass.
That will not go well.
Yeah, that I can
That's
see
more
how...
cultural,
Yeah.
actually. We don't talk about that out loud.
Well, I don't know.
No,
so
but
I
we don't
think it
use that type of
depends.
language.
We don't
Oh
We-
my
we-
God.
we-
Okay, I remember
So-
what happened. I remember what happened.
Yeah.
I made a video on my YouTube, and I said something black ass Kenyans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And then everyone in my
okay,
job, even the white people, like got into a frenzy. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Yeah.
you got Kenyans, black ass. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, I'm black. I love black people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I asked her, I was like, would you be mad? Like, I said, Elizabeth, like, is this bad? And she's like, you said black ass.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, girl,
It's
No, but
my ass
but I
is
understand.
black,
It's
though. Like,
it's derogatory.
It's
No,
derogatory.
but
It's a
it's taken as a derogatory
derogatively
term.
I
Yeah.
called my own son black ass.
That's
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
but-
That's
but
right.
see-
But now in the context, in the context, in
in
the African context.
Nairobi Kenyan context,
Yeah.
that was
But that's a
derogatory.
part of the deeper problem that y'all need to address. Don't project that on me. Black is not an insult.
Now, here's the
right.
thing. Now, here's the thing, Brittany, that I'm going to tell you. Because we're also trying to learn from each other.
Yes.
We're trying to learn from each
Bridging
other.
gaps.
Yeah, we're bridging gaps. There's certain things that, for example, like in Kenya and Tanzania, we both speak Swahili, but the Swahili is used in different
Differently.
ways. So someone in Tanzania, or someone in the island of Zanzibar, may call a friend shoga wangu. Now, shoga, the word shoga is directly translated is a gay person. Yeah. But like across the border, like two very close people, especially women, they'll call each other shoga wangu, and it's accepted. But you can't do that in Kenya.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Kenya, and you just can't do it. And the people who understand Kenya, they just know you can't do it. They understand it's not said maybe in a bad way, but you just can't do it. So there's certain things, that I'll tell you, like they may fly, like in certain spaces, but they're not gonna fly. And there are Kenyans who that will fly with. There's some Kenyans, who that might fly with. But for the most part, I understand. I understand why people will get mad.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
Language is how it's received, right? And it's across. It's just not only Africa. It's across any culture in the world, right?
Yeah.
There's the way I can say a word that is so innocuous here, but it will be offensive somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what you run into. And
Yeah.
it's easy for you to say, but I don't mean it in a bad way. But that's
Which I
because you're not
And it's a norm here.
Yeah, it is a norm here. It's not a norm there, right? So
Yeah.
like I think once you understand the culture of where you are, then you're able to be what you'd say respectful of the language in that place.
But
You know
also,
the way
in
some
order
Kenyans-
for people
yeah,
to
sure.
bridge gaps, you've got to build an understanding. So the 4 Agreements book, don't assume, right? That's a big thing. You're never, if we're gonna be like on the defense about, oh my God, this is so offensive here, we gotta meet each other in the middle. So if I'm telling y'all to shut up, I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
Believe me, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, give me the
that
benefit of a
way.
doubt.
Like, come on, it's like, you know me. Do you really think I'm just up in here and I'm gonna call you like something crazy?
So let me give you let me give you an example.
Did you try to understand why they felt it was offensive? I think once people do not have that place to talk,
I did.
If you don't have a place to talk about why it's offensive, why it's innocent, then misunderstanding.
Let me use a quick example, Brittany, here. Goja, one second, Mika. Let me give a quick example that you're familiar with. The A word that Africans use here to refer to African Americans. You know it.
Akata.
Yes, you know it. You know, a lot of times, a lot of Africans, but there's a lot of Black Americans who know about it and they don't like it. And here's my feeling. If someone, I personally don't use it, there are people who like using it. Here's my feeling. If a group of people have said they don't like this language being used against us, I mean, whatever I feel about what I meant when I used it, I don't know. I just feel like I have to stop. And
Do
a
you
lot of
call
Africans,
African Americans Akatas?
personally, I don't.
Do you use the word nigga?
No. In fact, we are very uncomfortable. We've had that conversation here. We are very uncomfortable
Using
with
that word.
Kenyans. With
Using
Kenyans
that
and
word.
even Kenyan artists using that word.
Because not understanding the genesis or the word itself, because we've lived here,
So we
understand it.
Yeah.
Someone who has never left 254 Canairo and just using it and not actually even really understanding the word itself. In fact, let me say this before Mika chimes in, just to support that point. What's his name? Richard Pryor. At one point in time, one of the best comedians back in the day, had an episode, went to the continent, I'm not sure where, but when he came back, he stopped using the N word.
I don't feel that way.
So that is you.
That's
but
okay.
But that's okay.
But there's so many
But that
people
is
who
him.
feel that way.
So there are many people who feel that way. So it's also, again, as much as you're trying to bridge gaps, it's also understanding
Where people are
that coming from, because Kenyans, and somebody said over here,
we don't like
Kenyans,
foul language.
we don't like foul language. Foul language meaning, even at my age, not Omoshe's, but age, younger than Omosh.
Hater.
We get to a point where even with our parents, his mom, whatever, my language is going to be very succinct, very general.
Not even PG,
I will not even
drop
nothing, not even try to say kufuruta. I mean,
You can't say
you
shit,
can't.
You can't say.
And I'm a father of 3.
Yeah.
Right? And I just can't. And that is,
I know,
and that is what
and it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing.
Yeah, that we
I've
accept.
stopped cussing as much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So say that again in English.
I have stopped cussing as much, really, because I swear you should have met me before I become more modest. You can ask my audience.
So, Mika.
Why did you stop?
Mika, no.
Because I can see the uncomfortability.
Okay.
Y'all do not like super bad cuss words or nasty.
Like,
Because we're not used
who
to
said
It's
it
not
over here?
something we grew up with.
Esther Mulsa said Kenyans don't like foul language. Now, amongst, like now, for example, if I'm hanging out with Mika, Ali, or Mosh, I can use. Even in front of Ruth, I will watch what I say.
Yeah,
What a modest crowd.
Yes,
No,
last
it's not
last
modest.
week we're actually having a conversation with Ruth where I was telling Ruth there's a word that I can use to refer to a mosh or unomike, and she got very shocked. Like you would actually
use
call
that
someone
word?
that, and I would not take offense to it. I would not take offense to it, but
And
it's language is sometimes very contextual.
This is my peer.
Yeah.
So but I would not. There's certain words I will be comfortable. I'll be like with Ali.
Yeah.
I'll be with Bandio. I'll be with Mika. But even in front of you,
Yes.
I'll
There's
watch.
certain things that we
You
can't.
can say whatever you want to say.
Like Ida says over here when you go to Rome, and this is also something that we have been brought up with. This has been
It's
programmed
cultural.
into it's cultural. It's us,
But that's where I say
Mika.
that there's a big difference between African Americans and Africans, because
which is okay.
Which is true.
their songs, my nigga, like it's endearment. Like, you're my nigga. Like, I love you. This is my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're nigga is the same as boyfriend. Like, this is my nigga.
Well, some people.
I'm his bitch.
There's a lot of people who don't agree with you. But Mika had something to say. Mika. Is Mika? I think Mika.
No, he's there.
I think his black ass got. Mika.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
I know he's not mute.
Yes.
Masako
Okay.
yako.
Yeah.
Oh, here that's on mute.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
All right, Mika,
Go ahead, Mika.
So this is what I wanted to say. You know, when you use the word like black ass, and then when you say Kenyan black ass, right?
Yeah.
When they look at it, they don't look
black
at you
Kenyans.
as a black. Don't get black ass Kenyans, right? When they hear
I'm feeling it.
Oh
when
my
they
God.
had that, when they had that, they had it from an American. They didn't see you as a black person or anything else. They had it from an American.
Yeah.
And they're used to that, being degraded and being looked down on by foreigners.
Oh, stop.
So at that point, your blackness didn't matter.
Yeah, I can feel that.
What mattered is where you're from, who you are.
Yeah.
So that is why they felt like it was insulting, and that is why they're not acceptive of such.
I'm blacker than most Kenyans.
That's true. That's true. But when
Skin-wise.
you speak, you're not Kenyan. You're not
I'm
one
a
of
black ass
they-
female. I'm dark.
But,
them. And,
I don't mean
that's
it
fine,
in that way.
But
Okay.
yeah, but when you say they don't see it that way,
yes.
they see a foreigner talking shit about them.
Now,
And as you've known, Kenyans are very sensitive. You
I
know,
know.
like when it comes to especially, like someone who's not Kenyan, like saying something negative about Kenya. And I'm sure you've had experiences with
KOT.
KOT.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about KOT.
Yeah.
I got knocked down.
Yeah.
Before.
They're a part of the issue. They started my issues at ISK.
Oh, now here's something, and I wanted to chime in on this. Luis Muya says, "What Mombasa foul language is the norm since childhood."
No,
But you see, I think that
it
is
depends on the
Mombasa.
context, I think.
No, but that's not even the norm. I know where this is coming from. Like some of those words that a lot of people, when they're trying to imitate Mombasans, like that language they use, that's actually not very common. Like I know where this comes from because like I can be Nairobian and I can be Mombasan when I want. So I understand where this is coming from. This is not, it's not normal for people kutukanana hivyo. Like these things that people sometimes attribute to easy matusi that I don't even want to say here. But it's not a common thing. Hizo matusi ziko ndio lakini they're not common. Mika.
Ali, one thing that most people forget is that people who watu wa bara wakienda Mombasa, mnaenda kwa bahari, mnakaa na mabeach boy.
Yes.
A beach boy anaongea lugha chafu, mnaassume ndo Kiswahili.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's, and then mkienda mtaani watu wako base wanaongea, mnaassume ndo Kiswahili. But try to listen to a family having a conversation and you will not hear any of that foulness or that foul mouth.
That's not
try
normal.
listening to somebody speaking to somebody older than them, somebody speaking to their father, their uncle, an older neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Or somebody they know. You won't hear that foulness.
Yeah.
That foulness is usually within, let's say,
there's
a
a
group
time
of
and a
boys
place.
sitting together. A group of, it's just like the way you found.
I wouldn't talk to I would never
you
call
find
my
kids in the
granddaddy a
corner.
nigga. I wouldn't be like, nigga, please, to my granddaddy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I respect,
that's
I'm not an animal.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, as a black woman, if somebody called me black ass, and that's just the cultural difference, I'm not going to be mad. My mom has said, if your black ass don't come here, you know what I'm saying? My ass is black and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, that, and that's right. That's contextual.